So I hear people like Elon Musk and Tim Pool are so confused and basically baffled about why people aren't having kids nowadays. Um, People like Matt Walsh, Tucker Carlson's basically like, yeah, just have a bunch of kids. It doesn't matter if how much money you make or what environment you put them in and what kind of stresses, emotional stresses you put your kids through. Like, you could have 50 kids. I mean, that's cool, but you have to have people to be able to take care of them. Pawning your kids off on the school system or daycare so you can. Some people have to do that because they have to work. Because like the system that we're currently in, you have to have both parents work. Not all, but like uh, it's very hard out here. And I've said this 1,000 times. But if you look at what's happening, how women are acting out in dramatic fashions, just since Trump won, you see them saying that like these leftist women are basically saying that their rights are taken, which is like, what rights are taken? What are you talking about? Now, if you live in a state where they banned abortion, like, yeah, but you can move, and guess what you can do? You can still drive to another state, fly to another state, and have your abortion. As far as I know, they're not like coming after you with the law. But like, why are you in this state? Why don't you move? Why don't you get the hell out of that state? Move to a state that you like the rules better. You like the laws better. You know? Guess what I did? I'm a very poor person. And I left Washington State. When I moved to Washington State, I realized I made a big mistake. Looking back at it now, I didn't make a mistake. Personally wise. Personally. Because I grew a lot as a person. I feel more confident about getting a job, a different job, going into different environments. I've had to adapt so much. So, like, if I would have stayed, so hypothetically, if I would have stayed at the current job I'm at, I would have been in there like 18 years and blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't have learned any new skills. I'll probably be scared to, like, make the move to another job. I'm not afraid to try out a new job. It doesn't scare me at all. So, what was I going with that? Oh yeah, like, yeah, you can leave your state. Is it very hard? Yes. I don't have any family here. I planned it out pretty well. So when I came back to where I'm at in Michigan, I planned it out. Yes, I had to come up here. I had to spend money. You have to spend money. So, like, yeah, I came here, did my interview. I got a voucher saying I got my job. So then I got an apartment right away. Presented them the information. They had the information. Blah, blah, blah. It's hard. Is it? But it is possible, especially like if you're a woman. It's not very hard at all to move around. Like, it's so easy to find a guy to take care of you or help you out. Maybe it's getting a little bit harder nowadays because of like the divide between men and women, and guys are waking up. But there's still a lot of dudes who haven't woken up. They're a bunch of simps, for sure. So currently online, this started out right after Trump won. It was like a day or two. They started with the blue wristband, saying like these leftist women, like they started shaving their heads or whatever. Like you guys are already doing that. Like, shaving right here is so ugly. When I see a woman shave right here, and they get the long hair, I see that, I'm just like, that's so ugly. Oh, I'm so unattracted to that. I don't like women with short hair at all. I like women with long hair, very feminine hair. Well, a lot of these leftist women don't want to be feminine, and I'm not attracted to you because I'm not attracted to masculine. I'm not. I would just be gay if I was attracted to masculine people. Um, but I like feminine women. I like long, flowing, feminine hair. So they shave their heads, and then they're talking about they're not going to engage with men anymore when it comes to dating, marriage, having kids, hookup culture. I mean, this is just affects the people like that are voted for Kamala. So they're only like hurting their own people, really, because like honestly, like I can't. I don't have a problem dating somebody that has like different political beliefs than me. But if they're radical and like your whole life, like you could say my life is all political. No, I have a lot of different interests. Political is just like the reason why I'm into politics so much right now because it's so important. That's it. I really don't want to be into politics. I'd rather just be into something else. I have a lot of different interests, but a lot of these women, like their whole personality is their ideology, their indoctrination on the left. And I can't handle the extreme left. I'm not going to try to walk on eggshells. I make mistakes, and they just think that everyone should be perfect, like they're robots or something like that, and it's unrealistic. These people's expectations are completely unrealistic. Um, so they started out doing that. They said, "Oh, we're not going to engage with men no more." Okay, cool. I don't see like what purpose you're here then. Like, um, I guess you contribute. Then be a strong, independent woman. Cool. Go ahead, do it. Maybe you want to date the same sex. That's what you like. Cool. Go ahead, do it. I actually seen a video of a woman saying that she broke up with her boyfriend. Now she's getting married to a woman all because of abortion. I'm thinking to myself, like, well, now you don't have to worry about getting pregnant. So it's like, what? These people don't have like any type of thought process. They aren't like completely dumb. I mean, they're midwits. They don't have any critical thinking. They don't have any long-term thinking. They only think about right this second. They don't think about the implications of their actions at all. And then they just follow. Like, these people are the ultimate conformists, which is crazy because the left wasn't conformist, and this is why people who aren't paying attention think that, like, oh, the left are so great and they're so moral, and they're not. They act like it. Like, these people are the biggest phonies. These people are the most shallowest people. They'll sit here and they'll act elitist. They'll act like they're better than you. They'll say, "Oh, I'm educated." Like, being educated, like, what do you mean? Like, you went to college? Oh, so like you know everything. You know every single detail in depth about every single subject. And all the rest of us who didn't attend college, even though like there's so many different forms of different intelligence, we're just dumb. We don't know anything. We need to just like no, what it is you're indoctrinated. Most of you people are indoctrinated and brainwashed. And yes, college does have good, you can learn a lot. There is a lot of knowledge in college, of course. But guess what? It's on the internet too, so I can kind of learn it myself. So I don't need to go and listen to a professor that I think is boring. That isn't really like I'm in a class with what 100 other kids. Like, there's no one-on-one. The teacher probably isn't ever gonna know my name. Like, there's no personal involvement at all. I'm good with that. I'm not gonna spend all my money on that. And in fact, if I wanted to, I can buy a college degrees that are, what is that called? Damn, I had it on top of my head, but yeah, they're legit college degrees. I could buy a bachelor's for like $300. I mean, if I wanted to say I'm a doctor, I get a doctorate for like $900. Man, I can just buy all these degrees and be like, hey, look, man, I'm loaded, dude. I'm educated. Whatever. They just like think like there's only one type of intelligence. When I bet you if we was to go ahead and line things up when it comes to IQ, I probably would beat a lot of these people in IQ. I mean, they're just conformists, and the only thing that they really bring to the table is basically memorization. They can memorize very well, and guess what else can memorize very well? The internet. Guess what I have access to anytime I want? The internet. It's like, good for you, man. You can memorize stuff. Cool. Whatever. Definitely you need knowledge to do different jobs for sure. Like, you have to memorize stuff, but it's just like, just sit here and just say like, oh, this person who didn't go to college but he knows how to fix the transmission of your vehicle is a complete idiot. And this is how they act. They act like you're stupid because you didn't go to college. And in fact, like, I think I'm actually pretty intelligent. I'm not taking on all that debt. And the fact, like, I never really, my whole life, knew what I actually wanted to do. Still to this day, just one job for the rest of my life, because I don't want to do just one job for the rest of my life. I have many different interests. And I'm not like just, and especially the way the world is evolving. Like, okay, hypothetically, like, okay, a couple years ago, like everybody was like, get into tech, and yes, get into tech back then. Well, if you look at like AI, the evolution of AI, and people were like, oh, it's stupid right now. It's just like, did we have AI like 10 years ago? Did we have AI like 5 years ago? Do we have ChatGPT like 5 years ago? So it's just like, we went from, it's not like we've had ChatGPT for like 50 years and it hasn't improved at all. Like, this stuff is improving dramatically. Like, I don't even have to edit songs anymore. I just go onto AI and be like, hey, generate me this type of beat. I want this type of music. I don't even have to like edit anything anymore. And a couple years ago, I did. And things just evolving very rapidly. People who aren't paying attention don't understand this. And there's a lot of people, I get it. A lot of people aren't following like what's happening with the evolution of technology. Not everybody is, but like, it is evolving very rapidly. And if you think that AI is just going to stay dumb, like what it is now forever, you're completely delusional. You have no critical thinking skills, very close-minded. So what I'm trying to say is, like, I seen a statistic a few months ago, maybe a year ago, and it said that 70% of the work done by third-party coders is done by AI. So what that tells me, at some point, AI is just going to do everything for Cody. At some point, AI is just going to do everything when it comes to computer tech, security, all that. We're not even gonna mess with that no more. So why would I invest my time, my money, in learning something that's probably going to be outdated in 6 months anyway? You know what I mean? So and there's already a ton of people that I'm competing with for less jobs who actually already went through the process. They have their degrees, they have their certificates, they know what they're, so like, I'm competing with these people who are already established, they're continuously learning, hopefully. And it's just like, I don't see a lot of potential there. And it's just like, it's kind of like, this is why I tell my kids, don't worry about that stuff. You can just get yourself a trade, learn a trade, and then you can always go back. If things don't evolve, you can always go back and learn whatever you want to learn, and go into whatever you want to go into. But get this trade first, so you always have something to fall back on, because the trade jobs aren't going away anytime soon. Now, maybe they will in the next 20 years with robots coming out, like the Tesla bots or whatever. But like, we're in a spot where it's like, why do I want to waste my time when things are evolving so rapidly? Dude, things are evolving so rapidly when it comes to technology. So I don't want to waste my time trying to learn it. You know, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be like, whatever is now will be gone in like 6 months and be completely evolved, innovated, and everything that I've learned will be outdated. So why am I going to waste my time? Things are happening so rapidly. It's not like things are happening like over a 20-year process. It's happening like very rapidly, man. And then these people are just like, you didn't go to college. I think I'm pretty intelligent for not going to college. I mean, I can learn. If I want to, I can I can get one of your textbooks and read them myself. I don't need to go and do all these stupid classes like gender studies or whatever to try to get these credits for the college for them to recognize my skills, which has nothing to do with my what I'm going to go into a job for. You know, I've heard a statistic a while back saying that 70% of college graduates go into a job that has nothing to do with their major. Anyway, with all that being said, the new thing, what's happening right now, what's blowing up right now, is, I don't even know if I can say this. So like, you just go on my, I'm gonna try to word it properly so YouTube doesn't try to take me down. You go into my X. It's not hard to find my X handle. Follow me there. Cool. But you can see it there. I have a pinned video talking about it. But there's women there's women that are filming themselves planning to do what you do to try to, like, how do I word this? What do you do to an infestated house with bugs? What do you do? That's what they're planning on doing with men that they voted for Trump. Hey, listen, man. I wish I could. I don't think I can talk about it, man. But they're filming themselves right now. I think that one of the videos has 1.3 million likes. That's where they're at right now. That's where these leftist lunatics are at this point. Not only do they want to, like, have the ability to, like, just use abortion as birth control and just, like, apparently just, like, not be protected. They just want to go ahead and get diseases and give them out to anybody. Because they're irresponsible, but they want to use abortion as birth control. All these leftists, this and that. They just take these, like, rare things that do happen. I'm not saying they don't happen, but it's such a rare thing. And most people having abortions because they're irresponsible. And that's the problem right there. So why are you being irresponsible? Why are you not being responsible? Like, if you want to be hookup culture, go ahead. But, like, just be responsible, man. Do you want to give STDs to somebody? Do you want to pass on HIV or herpes on somebody you really care about? Like, ruining somebody's life? It's just crazy. Like, the amount of no responsibility these people, these opposite sex of me, with these radical leftists, which I view the Democrats as pretty much all radical leftists, which is sad. It shouldn't be like that, but they've pretty much hijacked the party. And yeah, it's not all Democratic women. They're not gonna, but I wish I could say it. I think I could say it, but I just don't want the strike because I don't think that my channel can handle many more strikes. But you can look it up. I mean, what is it? I think what the movement is called, I forgot. I wish I had it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it does matter, but I can't talk. Perhaps I'll put it in the headline of this video when I'm done. So they're a death cult. That's what these people are. They're in a death cult, and they're not mother material. They're not wife material. So yeah, like, the people who are advocating and complaining about people not having kids, like, you have to understand why because these people are completely bought into the propaganda. Like, they're so, like, entrenched in the propaganda, they don't even realize how evil they really are. Like, they think that they are, like, the utmost accepting people. They think they're the most, like, they're the most accepting people, but they don't care about conservatives' beliefs. They only care about you because these people are very shallow. These people are very, like, shallow, egotistical, definitely narcissistic. But a lot of these women, there could be charges put on them for, you can't just, like, I've seen videos of women saying, like, like 2 different videos of them saying like they want to hire a hitman for Trump, basically. Like, you can't do that, man. You cannot do that, especially like filming yourself. Like, you're gonna get into some serious trouble. You can't advocate for violence. You can't talk about like wanting to take people out. You can't do that. That's not a part of the First Amendment, dude. Um, the First Amendment is not absolute. Is not absolute. You cannot talk about being violent towards people. There is consequences for that, and a lot of these people, hopefully, they end up in jail. I think that we need to bring back insane asylums for sure. Like, these people need to be locked up, man. Like, they don't need to be out with us. They don't even need to be out with like the general population. It's not all the left. It's not every Democrat. But what I want to see is Democrats reject these people. They have to reject these people. If they don't reject these people, they're not going. The Republicans are going to be like completely dominating the Democrats for the next 20 years until these people realize normal people don't like violence. Normal people don't like extremists. Normal people just voted for Trump, who they label as Hitler, who they label as a misogynist. They say he's a convicted felon. They want to keep bringing that up, even though like all these charges against him will be dropped. The judge is corrupt. They don't bring up that, like, they don't care about weaponizing the justice system against Trump because they think that they're above the law. They think that they're so morally superior to everybody that laws and consequences don't apply to these people. And that's where we're at. And that's why I'm saying what we should do is, once we get rid of every single illegal, I love immigrants, man. Like, I really love them. Some immigrants are some of the most hardest working, nicest, family-oriented people I've ever met in my life. I like them more than most Americans, honestly. But you have to come here legally, dude. I'm sorry. You can't just come here. I can't go to any other country and just be like, I'm a citizen now. We have laws, and you have to respect our laws. So we don't need no more men here. We have enough men. The problem is we don't have enough women. Because not only are we competing with, like, there's a lot of women that are just, they're not desirable at all to us. Because they're just like crazy. Like, I'm not messing with that. I don't want to have to worry about what's in my coffee. There you go. Now you understand what I'm saying. I don't want to have to worry about what's in my food. What'd you do to my food? So that's what they're talking about. We need to, if we're going to bring in immigrants, we need to bring in young women who want to have kids, who want to be a wife. That's what we need. We have enough men here. There's plenty. The problem, you know what the problem is with the men here? They're unmotivated. And it always comes back to us. It comes back to us. Why are these women the way they are? They probably don't have a good father figure, man. I'm serious. Like, they don't have a good father figure. And a lot of them hate Trump because they see, they actually like really respect Trump, I think. But they're like teenagers acting out against rebelling against their parents. They think they're rebelling. I don't know. I think that deep down they have missed that, and they're upset that they feel like their childhood was ruined because they've had to always rely on themselves emotionally. They haven't been able to rely on their fathers emotionally, like to listen to them, to be there for them, to tell them everything's going to be all right. Now they're just like, they're so out of what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be feminine. They're supposed to not be in their masculine. They're supposed to be wanting to serve their man. That's what's supposed to happen. That's the whole purpose. Like, motherhood is probably the most important job on this planet. And a lot of American women on both the right and left just don't appreciate it. I think that women on the right appreciate it more. But the fact that when you have a child and the first thing you can think of is like, how can I get back to work, instead of like being there for your kid and like raising your kid and being there for like the most precious moments that are going to go away and never come back, is absolutely crazy to me. And I think that's, like I said, it's lack of leadership from their fathers. You know, it's like this is how they probably look at Trump. They look at, because they have the mentality of like a 12-year-old or something like that. Let's say like I started dating a single mom, right? Okay. So I come into her life, she's got teenagers. They're not going to want to listen to me. Whatever I say, they don't give a shit. Who the hell am I? That's how they look at Trump. That's exactly how they look at him. I ain't gonna listen to you. Screw you. I'm gonna actually rebel against you. Because my own dad is a failure. That's what they look at. And I think that like my own kids are pretty emotionally stable because they had their mom when they were young. That she was in their life. Like they didn't even go to daycare, man. Like they didn't go to preschool. They didn't go any of that. I was very careful about who I allow around my kids. They went into kindergarten. I remember when I went into kindergarten, I started out half days. They went into kindergarten from nothing right into full days of school. And they seem pretty emotionally stable nowadays. You know what I mean? Like compared to their own generation. And I think that has a lot to do with what they were raised in. They weren't raised in the perfect environment. You know, like me being a single father, definitely not. Definitely what the mom does is it brings a family together. It brings communication throughout the family. Like when I've said this before, when you're a kid and you talk about going to see, you know, your grandparents on Thanksgiving or Christmas, what is it always? We're gonna go see grandma. It's not we're gonna go see grandpa. We're gonna see grandma, because women are the ones that like bring the families together. So like we have a complete breakdown into the family, and we need to make families great again. So like yeah, we should be able to perhaps like if I know this sounds horrible, but like this is just an idea and it's not gonna float, but like perhaps be more lenient on if I go like I wouldn't vouch for bringing a woman back here. Like personally, if I wanted to have a family, I would probably leave this country. I wouldn't want to. If I was a young person, knowing what I know, I probably would just save up and then like just start a family wherever she's at. Instead of bringing her back here, then she becomes Americanized, and then like she starts getting ideas about leaving me and possibly using me to become a American citizen and leaving me, and then I'd just rather be around her family. Honestly, I'd rather just like raise my kids around her family and then try to make that situation better for everybody involved. Her family, and me and all that. That's because like America at this state is such a decaying social society. It doesn't really value families that much. Hopefully things will be changing, but it doesn't really value family. All it values is like very materialistic, self-centered, superficial things. Like this is a superficial society, very toxic society, and I think it can get better. And I feel optimistic about the future. I really do. But perhaps maybe we should bring. I don't know how this would work out, but maybe for the next 5 years we bring in women that are young women that want to have kids and be a wife. They're traditional. That's all they really want. They're not trying to be CEOs. They're not trying to like impress anybody. They just want to be your classic good mom and understand like they're humble. They're not like thinking, oh, I'm gonna be Kim Kardashian. Like there's so many of these women that think that they're Kim Kardashian. It's just like I just seen a video of this woman. She's obese and she's on their whatever podcast or whatever. And she's like, the bare minimum for me is $5 million a year. I need a man to make $5 million a year. And then her justification was because in New York, the average house is like 500, like $500,000. And she doesn't I guess she doesn't understand, like, you take out a loan and then you make monthly payments unless you have the money. Like, what she's asking for is not realistic. It's completely, I think there's so many of these women that live some type of like Disney, it's a distorted Disney princess fantasy. It's unrealistic. It's propped up by social media. Social media doesn't help out. I think social media is the problem for that. What I would say about social media is, like, if you're gonna have social media, you want to keep it small. If you don't want to try to become famous, you don't want a lot of people. You just want, like, you want to use it as like you get your close friends and your family. Maybe your family doesn't live close, so you share pictures, you share this. It's not about, oh, I'm taking selfies, I'm doing this. No, it's about, okay, it's my family. I want them to see what we're doing. You know, they're busy, stuff like that. Instead of like, I want to try to get as many views as I can. I want to try to get as many clicks as I can. Completely self-centered, self-absorbed. I remember this one woman I was seeing, and we went to a hockey game, right? And not only did she take a selfie with me, but then she took a couple by herself. So what that told me is like, so like, if we do end up breaking up, you're already preparing if we do break up. That's what that told me. Like, so you could just go ahead and delete that one of me, and then have like, oh, look at me, like, you know what I'm saying? That's where we're at. Most American women are not mother or wife material. And on the contrary, a lot of dudes aren't father material either. So this is where we're at. But like, the problem with men is there's no motivation to work hard. Why? Why would I work hard for somebody who's probably going to leave me, cheat on me, doesn't care about taking care of our kids? Might do something to my coffee because I voted a certain way, because they have such a distorted a view of reality that they think that they lost a bunch of rights. Like, they're just gonna go back to caveman days, and it's just not realistic. They haven't lost any rights, and they're not gonna lose any rights. But I will say this: if the Democrats continue with that they're doing, the radicalism, they're not going to have power for another 20 years, if that. Because America voted against the radical left. They rejected the radical left. They rejected the phoniness. So what I'm seeing right now, and people are pissed off, so it might die off. They might actually come to their senses, is they're doubling down on the radicalism. They're not thinking, maybe I should be more moderate. They're not looking at the country and be like, they voted against this. People don't want this. Like, if I was a prominent figure in the Democratic Party, my instead of fighting Elon, I would be trying to get him to come back. I would be rejecting these radical leftists and becoming more moderate, kind of like a MAGA left. That's what I would do. But these people have no strategy. They have no thinking. Like, think about this. I want people to understand this very well. And this epitomizes Democrat leadership. Now, I think Trump raised almost $400 million, right? And from the figures I've seen, these might not be factual. I don't know. This is just what I've seen off somebody posted on X. Usually people are pretty accurate with what they're... I'm sure it's somewhere around this. But I've seen multiple posts about Kamala. So apparently Trump Um, made 400 million. He brought in 400 million for his campaign. He only spent 10 million for his staffing when Kamala spent $500 million for her staffing. That's what it said. So that means like Trump didn't really focus on going door to door. Why should you? Why would you? Hypothetically, if I had the numbers, if I had the support, I think I could take a lot of different offices. Just because of my notoriety, people knowing who I am, easy access to what I have to say, my policies or whatever like that. So many of these politicians don't even know who the hell they are. The Democrats don't realize, they didn't realize, maybe they do now, the effects of social media, podcasts, and they're kind of out of touch. They're not evolving as quickly as the conservatives are, which is crazy when it comes to technology. But anyway, like, back to this. Okay, she spent over $1 billion. She spent like $1.3 billion, something like that, and then she came up negative 20 million. So she overspent by a lot. She had all that money and she still overspent. Well, Trump didn't. Trump came in the positive. He came in the green. So he won having way less money than her. I think that you can win elections easily without much money at all, honestly, as long as you have the clout, as long as you have the internet support. And that's where we're headed. Like, here's my vision. I would love to be the governor of Michigan. Do I know what the fuck I'm doing? Not really, but I guess. But you know what I could do is surround myself with people that know what they're doing, who will help me out for real. And how I would win if I had the support is with social media. I would use the same type of tactic that AOC used when it comes to like trying to win a primary, trying to primary somebody. And then having that same thing of like, do you want the same old with the politician, or do you want somebody that hasn't been in there before that wants to change things like Trump did? Never was a president. Before this, he wasn't into politics. He wasn't a senator. He wasn't any of that crap. And look how well he did in the first term. You can debate, oh, it wasn't perfect. Yeah. He did pretty good. I think he probably did the best out of like all the presidents in my lifetime, and except for, Reagan, obviously, but I was a little kid back then, so I really didn't care or understand. But you see what I'm saying? This is how they run the government, dude. I keep on hearing from these people on the left. Oh, look at this. Biden had to like clean up the mess of the Republicans of Bush, and then like Clinton's did, and then Biden did. Like, and the economy is so great because of them. And it's just like all they did was kick the can down the road. It's not that hard to figure out. They just printed out more money, put the inflation on the taxpayer, and sustain the economy like that. That's what they did. That's what they always do. And then the Republicans, since it's not going well, they get voted back in, and they have to clean up the mess. So it seems like it's their fault. Like, we have to clean this mess up, man. We look like the bad guys. We're the parents. We're the adults back in charge. You have to go to bed at 9, and not whenever you want. You're not going to stay up till 2:00 in the morning. And that's what it is. Like, the Democrat leadership, the leftist leadership, they're like children. And you can't run a country like having no maturity in office and think it's sustainable long term. And I'm really hoping that Trump and the Republicans really push the agenda hard. And I think that they will. I'm very confident in Elon, them reforming the government, and I think that we're going to go through some turmoil with the tariffs for sure. Yeah, we're going to have prices on certain things go up big time, like things that are imported here. But what I think is going to happen, which they never talk about, they just want to say like, oh, like I've heard this, like, well, this is what happens. Like when you do tariffs, they put it on the companies as soon as they get imported or whatever, and that's on the companies, and then the companies put that the tariff cost, the extra tax, onto us, the consumer, which I'm sure is true. But they ignore the fact that we have direct tariffs on China, direct tariffs on them, and they don't talk about that. They don't talk about how Biden has kept those tariffs and, in fact, made them more so, expanded them more. They don't talk about that. We need it fair for the American worker. And what will happen? What will happen too is, yes, prices will go up on certain things, not everything. And in fact, you might actually see prices go down if gas prices are the linchpin. So if what he plans to do is just make us like we are oil dominant country, gas prices will drop. You will see prices drop on everything because transportation is part of the cost of the good. People aren't just going to move stuff. Truck drivers aren't just going to work for free, man. So what you'll see is companies popping up, small companies, probably a bunch of small companies popping up because they see that there's a need for this. And you're going to see some of these companies who have outsourced, who have fucked us over, who have fucked over the average person for their profits, using slave labor, paying somebody pennies, bringing the stuff back and selling it to us. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'm cool for trade. We definitely need trade. Trade is good, but it needs to be fair. And we've been taken advantage of big time. And like these shipping lanes, who protects these shipping lanes? It's us. Nobody else does, but it's us. So we just have to fund everything? No. The reason why China is where they're at is because of us. Because we've helped prop them up so much. To have 70% of the stuff that we make from one country is ridiculous. It needs to be decentralized. We need to have it. We need to have a bunch of countries make things for us, not just one country make most of our stuff. And we make stuff here. So like certain food things that are imported are definitely going to go up in price. No doubt about that. But then you'll start seeing people actually grow this stuff here. You'll see like people start manufacturing stuff. Like you'll see people start making stuff here. And it might actually be better than whatever they're trying to bring in. Cheaper? Yes. Labor. And the funny thing is like these leftists think that like the economy is the same everywhere in America. You know how many like of these states that they talk down on, like these people talk down on all the time, like they're just dumb people, that you can bring factories back and pay these people less than you would in California because like the standard of living is so much more there. Like you can bring back a lot of factories in these red states like I said, Alabama, West Virginia. Like you could, and then what will happen is like the standard of living will go up. Yeah. But I think that prices will stabilize, and I think what will offset it too will be if he eliminates income tax. If I go to work and I work overtime, I don't have to get taxed on my overtime pay no more. That's gonna make me want to be more productive. To be able to have all of my overtime pay, to be able to keep that's a game changer. Yeah, the price is gonna go up. Not everything, and that's what these leftists are. These people don't have any type of credibility, man. Like they're so misleading. They don't. What they do is they gaslight you, and then they project. They project whatever they're doing onto the other people. A lot. Now, I'm not gonna say that like I'm perfect. I know everything, and perhaps a lot of people when it comes to the tariffs, they think they know what's gonna happen, but they don't. We're not really sure what's going to happen with Trump's economic policy, which I seen the first time, and I really didn't see when he put tariffs on in his first presidency. I didn't see too much inflation. I really didn't. Now we might now, like I said, on certain things, phones, so like clothing, stuff like that. Yeah, you might see prices increase for sure. But like I said, you this is where capitalism is huge, not when corporations dominate the market, when you have a ton of small companies competing with each other to put out the best product, to try to gain access to my money. They want access to my money, so they want to put out the best product they can for the cheapest price that they can. And that's what Elon does all the time. Got a lot of respect for that dude. But that's how capitalism works best. Because if you have one company just making everything, and for some reason there's big failures, then there's production loss, and then you'll see scarcity in the market. Well, if one small company can't run the company very well and they fail, well, you got other companies that have been competing that can still put out product for us. Maybe the prices go up a little bit because it's a little bit scarce, but there's still products getting put out there instead of just completely empty shelves. Maybe like a hurricane happens, knocks them out, or whatever, some natural disaster. But it's like, I think that the way Trump is setting the economy up, and it's going to be bumpy. I'm not going to say it's not going to be bumpy, but it's fucking been bumpy. Especially if you're at my level, it's been bumpy. When we come out of that bumpiness, hopefully people don't like try to change things. Like let see what happens with his. If it's an utter failure, yes, well, no, I guess it's horrible, and I guess we're all screwed. But I think what the Democrats were heading us anyway was off a cliff. All they were doing is making that cliff higher and higher, and making the destruction. Like, you wouldn't be able to come back from it. We've came back from recessions. We came back from stagflation, but where they were leading us, we wouldn't be able to come back. And in fact, it might become like Mad Max. That is a possibility of where the Democrats were leading. And then now they're trying to say like, oh, this is Trump. Like, dude, you guys have been causing this inflation. You guys actually passed a bill that's an Inflation Reduction Act, supposed to stop inflation, which just added to the inflation. Like, that's how stupid these people are. They don't think at all. They just think about right now. And let me tell you something too. When you print out money, that does help out the economy. Yes, it does. It does help out the economy because people start spending. And then what happens though? You'll start seeing limited resources, and then the prices will go up. And then once that money is printed out, you don't have more and more money getting printed anymore. Then you have to start dealing with the inflation. And then guess who has to like deal with the inflation the hardest? The poor, the working class, the middle class. These elitists, these rich people, they're insulated from the inflation. They don't care. Add a couple of bucks to the gas prices. They don't care. They're fine. They're still fine. They're all in a bubble, man. They don't live in reality. And that's why I was like, man, this, like, somebody like me, who people could, like, if I had the clout, I think I would probably do really, if I had the time and the clout, I can sit here and, like, gain more knowledge and things, learn about the government here more. I have to work a full-time job, man, so it's like I'm really limited. But, like, if I had the time to sit here and actually learn about the government here, how it works, work on my debate skills, I think I do pretty good, honestly, like, against these people. And I think that I could be more relatable to people than these people who are rich, that are completely out of touch with everything that's been going on. But it is what it is, and it's cool, man. I'm a regular person. I'm a common person. I'm fine being a common person the rest of my life. I just want to be able to, like, want to keep moving forward, see like I want to be able to have a carrot to keep me moving forward, because like that's what you need as a human, is you need some type of carrot. You need to something to strive for, and you need to see progress. Because if you have the carrot but like it's too far, like it's like miles away, and it just seems like it's um unattainable, like no way you're ever gonna get there, and it's not just miles away, it's like it's out of our solar system. Like it's just not feasible. It's never gonna happen. And that's how it felt for me the last 4 years. And that's probably how it feels for like Gen Z, the youth, the Gen Z, like especially the men. They're like, man, what's the point? Like, not only, especially like if somebody looks like me, and I don't like to talk about race that much, but like somebody looks like me, who is hated by society, who was hated by society, the mainstream media, and yeah, and like they're looking at like dating prospects, and they're like, a lot of these women don't take care of themselves. They're overweight. They're delusional in their politics. They're delusional in their reality. They don't want to be a wife. They don't want to be a mother. They don't want to submit. They don't want to trust my leadership. What are some other things I was thinking about? Dang. Anyway, like I could sit here and say like all this bad stuff, but like you pretty much get it. Like there's not a lot of motivation for men to want to strive hard, and what makes men want to strive to do great things, it's not to like impress other men. Sure, it's nice to impress other men when you have a woman. It's just like, yeah, like look what I got, of course. But I don't care about unless you're like you're gay or something like that. But like a straight man doesn't really care about what other straight men think about him when it comes to like their status or what they look like. We don't dress to impress for other straight men. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, no. When men peacock is to attract women. That's what gives us motivation. What gives us motivation is to provide for our family, to provide for our wife, to provide for our kids. And if you're looking at things, you're like, I'm never going to attain that. I don't really have much to work with. Then what the hell do I care? I'm just going to go ahead and sit in my mom's basement, smoke weed, play video games all day, and escape this horrible reality. I hope things change. But it's just it's a crazy time we're in, and like I said, hopefully I feel very optimistic. I really feel optimistic for as long as we keep on, as long as like they come through with even 25% of what they're talking about, the Trump coalition. If they only come up with 25%, that's amazing. Like some of the stuff that Robert F. Kennedy's talking about with health wise is absolutely needed. Elon cutting back the government, reforming the government with Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard. If she becomes Secretary of State, like I would love if she became like Secretary of State. That'd be amazing, man. How could you imagine if Alex Jones is the press secretary? That would be so cool. Elon Musk cutting back fund. Like, look what he's done. Look what he's done with what he's had to work with. He comes out with these amazing products for like they should be worth so much more. He just comes out with the best product he possibly can and puts it out. He doesn't sit here and be like, okay, we're gonna make this and then we're gonna make a dumber version down of what we just made so we can sell like the version we just created down the road to people. No, he's like, I want to put out the best version I possibly can for the best price I possibly can for people, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Unfortunately, that's not how it's been. Okay, so like, I'm very optimistic with these people in charge, and the whole thing with like them trying not to certify. There's rumors. Oh, we're not going to certify Trump because he's 14th Amendment. He was an insurrection. Well, number one thing is like you have to like convict somebody. Nobody's been charged with the insurrection, and these politicians that don't certify Trump, they are putting themselves in a bad place. They're probably going to end up in prison, honestly. If they want to go ahead and do that, break our laws, if they want to ignore the power of the people, by their own agenda, these people are probably going to end up in prison. Hopefully, people don't get violent towards them. I don't. Hopefully, they don't. Hopefully, these people just end up in prison because they're highly corrupt. People need these people who are pushing against decertification of Trump after we just had a landslide because of their own personal reasons. They need to be investigated. So hopefully, like, Trump sees this and they put some investigation on these people, and these people need to be in prison, man. I'm sorry. It's not retribution. It's not trying to get revenge on these people. It's the justice system at work. Certain people need to be put in prison because they're breaking the law. We have laws, and people are breaking them. People are corrupt. They need to be put in prison. I'm sorry, that's just how it works. If I was to do it, I would be in prison. So, like, it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much status you have. You break the law, there's consequences. They're trying to say that Elon cheated the election because I guess he made some apps so he could see the results before they actually happened. And I looked it up, and I don't see anything against that unless his app interfered with the election process at all. Like, if his app added or took, like, if it added Trump votes and took away the other votes or whatever from Kamala. So, like, that's as far as I know right now is he didn't. That's not cheating and that's not breaking the law. But I could be wrong. I'm definitely not a law professional, obviously. But it's just like these people who have been calling me a conspiracy theorist, saying like, oh, because I questioned the election 4 years ago, I'm a conspiracy theorist, are the ones coming out now questioning this election, which I'm like, oh, go ahead, let's recount it, good. And then let's recount the 2020 election as well. And they said that, oh, we have, like, okay. So, like, I'm all for investigating elections. I don't want any cheating from either side. So if people wanted Kamala, then I guess, like, we got Kamala, and then I guess we're just gonna, go to Mad Max at some point. But yeah, that's it. And one more thing is just like, what I think that a lot of women who, since women are like conformists, like naturally, I think a lot of these women will abandon the radical left. I think a lot of these women will come to their senses. They'll see like these people who claim to be highest values. They'll see that, just like the American people seen through Kamala. Like, they're gonna see like, maybe the Trump supporters are right about you people. Maybe America is right about you people, and I think that you might start seeing more women become more conservative. Hope that's the hope, and getting the help that they need, because there's a lot of people, not just women, but people in general in America who have mental health diseases. Me personally, I have a couple. I'm not gonna lie, but I am pretty good at containing it. I have control of my shadow side. I have very good control of my shadow side, and yeah, like, that's it, I guess.